and who do you most miss working behind the scenes with Arrow?
Ooh.
I most miss working on screen with Emily, and I most miss just hanging out on set with David.
That's a pretty straightforward answer. And wait, she also had asked about behind the scenes, meaning like I'm assuming you're referring to creatively,
yes.
Director or writer, producer, yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's a whole assortment of directors that I really liked working with, but over the over the course of the 7 years, it basically went. Andrew Kreisberg and Mark Guggenheim, and Mark for a longer stretch because Andrew moved on to The Flash. And then we had Beth Schwartz come on, and that was a really cool thing for me as showrunner. Because she started out as basically like a writer's assistant in season 1 and worked her way all the way up, and has now just done a new show for Netflix that was really successful. So that was cool. And then I think probably overall, James Bamford was our fight coordinator, not even stunt coordinator, in the first season. And he graduated all the way up in, I believe it was season 5, possibly season 6, to becoming just our full-time producing director. So I miss him. I haven't seen him since we wrapped the show.
Yeah, and he's done a bunch of Batwoman. Staying busy up there.
Oh yeah.
And also a bunch of cool stunt and fight and directing things. So
of course.
Yeah, great guy. Next up.
A little bit taller than this thing. I really appreciate your interview that you did with Michael Rosenbaum. It really impacted me as a person.
Thanks.
Talk about how being a superhero outside of being a superhero is a little bit difficult. What's the hardest part for you?
The hardest part? Well, the hardest part of not being a superhero. I mean, my daughter thought I was a superhero until about age 6. About a year and a half removed from that.
I think she might be better at shooting rubber arrows than you. In fairness, she's had more practice with the fake arrows.
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to her moderating the next panel. Part of the, and Cass will say this as well, for the people that weren't aware, I was doing I was doing a podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, and it was right after Arrow had finished, and I hadn't really come to grips with it finishing, and I was in a little bit of I felt a little lost just in terms of my overall purpose and what was happening, and I was having real bad bouts of anxiety, and in the middle of the podcast that I was doing with him, I started sweating uncontrollably, and I thought I was dying, and I was having a panic attack, full panic attack, and that was in December, I believe, maybe November, December, and I went back after the Christmas break in January after listening to it, and I went and finished it to talk about what happened, and I haven't been having much trouble with anxiety since that time. But the thing that is sometimes difficult going out and meeting people is the stories that people want to tell you, because a lot of them are happy, a lot of them are sad. I was in Orlando last weekend, and I had 8 or 9 people come up to me because we had gone and done a show there to benefit a foundation that was set up for survivors, victims, families of the Pulse nightclub shooting. And so I probably had 8 or 9 people come up to me that maybe a couple were survivors, a couple of people had lost people there, but all of them were there to say thank you and express gratitude for a very small part that I played to aid in that recovery. And I got to tell you, at the end of the day, that's sometimes a lot. Cass will tell you that after days like today, I usually take about 5-10 minutes by myself just to think about the people that I meet, or to think about questions like the one that you're asking me right now. And sometimes the weight of that is heavier than others. So I don't mean to get too introspective here, but sometimes that's a little bit difficult to deal with because, you know, when people have watched you on a show and you become an important part of your life, but you've never met them, they come to you and you want to think to yourself, how can I be as present and available as possible for them, right? Because I can't imagine what it would be like to look up to someone that you've seen on your television for the better part of a decade, and then you go up to that person and they're a dick, right? That's a real tough thing. I'm sure I've done it, right? Not on purpose. I'm sure that I've been walking, or I've been with my family, or I've been out at dinner, and someone has come up and I've asked for privacy, and that person thinks that I'm an asshole, and I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about things that are out of my control, but I can put forth the best effort possible, and sometimes that takes a bit of a toll on me, but would I trade it? Not a chance. Thank you.
I think it's speak for everybody. We really appreciate
Thank you. I think we maybe have time for a few more. Yeah.
Oh, and to that end, this is my third time in Kansas City, and I just gotta say, I love coming here. I love barbecue. I'm gonna try to come back this year for the Giants-Chiefs game. It's a Monday Night Football game. I gotta go to Arrowhead. I'm so excited. You wanna come?
Yeah, maybe. I'm still hung up on the barbecue thing because I'm from Texas. So I have strong barbecue opinions. And I have to say, I've had some barbecue. I've had some good smoked meats and soup in here, and it has been great. But you know, I'm impressed.
Well, no, sorry. All that to say, thank you very much for
Yes,
having
thank you very much for having us. Thanks, Steph.
All right, so my name is Megan.
Hi,
I
Megan.
am currently a theater performance major in college, and I was just wondering, as an aspiring actress, if you would have any advice about acting, or maybe how to get into on-screen acting.
So you said that you're a theater major?
Yes.
So what type of theater? Basic theater, musical theater, both?
Well, currently I'm still a freshman, so I don't really have a preference right now, but I am a performance-focused major, so I am...
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I have the singing chops to go on Broadway or anything, so...
It's not about having chops, it's about having moxie,
That is true.
right?
I just wondered if you had any maybe advice on how to handle the world of acting, how to get into it.
Well, what you're doing right now is the smartest thing. Where do you go to college?
I'm currently at Northwest. It's up in Maryville, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually had an audition last night, so I didn't get to come yesterday.
Oh, really? What was it for?
Clue, a play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, and then did you act in high school as well?
Yes, my senior year was actually the first time I had a role, though.
Oh, wow.
I played a villain in our first production my senior year, and then the last production my senior year, I got the lead.
What were the productions?
The first one was Crush. It's really not widely known. Not a lot
Okay.
of schools have done it.
Well, then keep going.
And then my most recent one was called John Lennon and Me, and I played the lead named Star, who kind of was sick and was in the hospital. And
Okay. All right. But that's not a me. Okay.
Well, all you need to go with that resume is your headshot. You can drop it off right up here.
Well, what you're doing right now is I think the most important thing. People romanticize acting.
Yeah.
Same with it, they romanticize professional baseball players or pro football players with the idea that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just catch your big break. No, you don't. You work. You were in a couple of plays in high school, and then you go to college and you study and you learn. And I know that you're performance-based, but you should learn how they light the stage, and you should learn how the directors work. And it doesn't matter if you don't like singing. Learn how to carry a tune.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that's most important.
they actually, in my college, to get the degree for theater performance, you still have to take classes for other aspects of it.
Of course.
I am currently enrolled in a stage makeup class.
Okay.
And we're gonna get our kits soon, and we'll have to learn the technical parts of it and everything.
Well, then you're ahead of the game. But
Learn that before Halloween. Have some fun with it.
Oh yeah, apparently SFX, like Blood and Gore, she puts right around October. So
Oh, that's
I'm gonna
great.
be Good.
Well, what you have to do, and what I would really suggest is you got to treat it like your career. It's a career. Pat Mahomes didn't just show up on the Chiefs. In fact, when he showed up on the Chiefs, didn't even play for a year, right? He was there learning. He was there learning and learning the surroundings, getting used to being in a stadium full of people, right? Is it Salvador Perez, the giant guy for the catcher for the like? Guess what? He didn't just show up in Kansas City and become an all-star, right? You work your way up, and you work your way up in acting too. You got to remember that you have. I know you got a headshot, but you have a resume for a reason, and anything that you can put on it is important. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move it along so we can get in. I think 2 more. Flash.
I'm gonna answer 4 more because I got to answer Flash and Bobby Boucher and then the next 2 people.
Okay. So we'll limit it to 1 question, but yeah. Let's hear it, Flash.
Hey Stephen.
Hey man.
My name's Thomas, and
Hey,
I was
Thomas.
just really curious about the technical aspects of that one shot for the last episode. How many hours does that take for you guys to work on? Because I know you're working like 12-hour days and stuff. Did you go over that at all?
What shot are you talking about?
The very like
The last episode of the show, the big giant fight?
yes, that was kind of like all kind of one shot.
Yeah.
Like I was just curious, like how hard that was to make.
I mean, it was really hard, but the person that it was least hard on, this guy. Well, because they prep on this stuff for days. They do dry runs of it for days. I mean, we had 2 of them. We had one where in my last episode with Paul Blackthorne who played Quentin Lance, we had a big long shot, and then on the in the last episode, we wanted to have this one blowout fight. We literally brought the entire stunt team, like stunt guys came out of retirement to be in this thing. And they set the whole thing up and they work at it, and then like 15 minutes beforehand, I show up and go, all right, the important guys here, let's shoot this thing.
Wow, so you don't actually.
No, so I mean, honestly, they probably prepped that thing for the better part of a week. Wow. And then it's go time.
More than that, because sometimes we see the previs as like 2 weeks.
No, I don't mean just a week. I mean like a week of concentrated work that takes place maybe over 2-3 weeks once they have the script.
I just wasn't sure if you worked with the stunt team or not, so that's why I was curious.
Oh no, I've never spoken to a single member of the stunt team.
Rehearse with them on it.
Yes, of course. Yes, I do. But so I'm being a little bit misleading. But I really like. They do the prep. They make it safe. They teach me the moves. But the legwork, the hard work, the work that you don't see, all that happens beforehand, right? It's like sorry, the young lady that just asked a question that is the just going to school for the theater major. Like when you're thinking about a play. Actually getting and going to do the play, that's the easy part, right? It's all the prep, it's setting the lights, it's learning the blocking, it's all of the prep that you go through, and then once you put your makeup on and the lights come up, that's the part that you do for free.
So it didn't take that long to shoot then?
Wow. No, to shoot, it takes no time at all, it's just one shot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, man.
Bobby Boucher.
My name is Bobby. Thanks for coming out to Kansas City. So obviously Arrow is awesome. The Heels premiere last week was awesome. But I'm gonna go with a more random question. So what is one of your favorite movies of all time, or just a movie you've seen too many times? And I know you were already talking about underdog movies, but everything's on the table.
7.
7. I actually just watched 7 for the first time a couple weeks ago. Great movie.
Isn't it perfect?
It's so good.
I think it might be a perfect movie. I love 7. I really, really love Up in the Air a lot. Oh man. What? What's in the box? Oh gosh, and if I think of any more, I'll shout them out. But I love 7. I know that's not like, it's just it just happened. I don't necessarily like to say that it's my favorite movie because it is about murder.
But it's a good choice.
It's so good.
Very. And while you're
Sorry, what was that?
go ahead. I was just say thanks for the question.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and I'm really excited for the Batman because that movie looks like it's like 7 mixed with Batman. So it looks really cool.
But wasn't that just the first season of Arrow?
Okay, we're going to move super quick and get 2 more in while she's wiping the mic. Which seven sin gets you?
Pride.
Ooh. Okay, next up.
Hi, I'm Trayton, and I was wondering, out of all the actors and actresses in the Arrowverse, who did you have the most fun with on and off set, and why?
David Ramsey, just because of the amount of time that we had to spend together, right? On screen, off screen. We don't get that first couple of seasons done if he and I can't plow through like 12, 13 pages of dialogue a day.
Thank you. Okay, last
We
question.
got two more because we're not going to stop my little man in the green shirt.
Okay, all right, let's hear it.
Hi, my name is Jude. So I think we can all agree that COVID has affected us in many ways, and I was wondering, how has it affected you guys and your lives?
It's been incredibly difficult. I didn't handle the first part of the pandemic very well. We've been very fortunate that we haven't had anyone in our orbit. We've had a couple of people get sick, but everyone has recovered. But I had a job and a purpose all the time, every day for like a decade. And 2 days before I went to Georgia to shoot Eels, the world shut down, and it didn't shut down, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I didn't deal with it. I didn't deal with it particularly well. I didn't have anxiety, but I certainly had depression, and I found it to be incredibly challenging. And at the same time, you want to avoid doing the whole like, woe is me. You get to chill out every day and spend time with my family. And it's one of those things where you want to like grab yourself by the scruff of the neck, yank yourself up, and go, shut up. Just enjoy the time, which is an easy thing to say. It's not always the easiest thing to do. How have you been? Have you been okay?
Yeah, I've been doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's better now than it was in the beginning.
It is better. I mean, I think that we just, in general, people need to adjust. I think that everyone in this audience right now, no one likes to wear a mask, but at the same time, everyone follows the rules, and that allows us to have fun days like today. I mean, I typically don't do this many conventions, but I've been getting out there because I miss people and I miss questions like I got about acting, and I don't know, I miss questions about the interview that I had with Michael Rosenbaum, and I miss giving back to people. And I think that human connection is clearly very important, because sitting alone with my wife and my daughter, it should have been happy, and it was.
Wait a minute. What are you trying to say?
I just went an hour without sticking my foot in my mouth. But human connection is really important. So thanks for asking the question. I'm glad you're doing good, and thank you for coming out today.
I appreciate it.
Okay, we're gonna do one more before we start getting the Oscar music. The please wrap up music.
What are they gonna do? They just reset the timer.
You're
We're
gonna
fine.
start
Go ahead,
playing
buddy.
music.
My name is Gordon, and what is your favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby?
Stop shooting arrows.
Besides shooting rubber arrows, we can see that you haven't done that very much.
Oh boy, my favorite hobby is really fun swim times with our kiddo. Nice way to wrap up.
That is a nice way to wrap up. Guys, thank you so much for having